Hi, welcome to a Forex update. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 7th of November. Okay, when we have moves like we've had recently, it does get me sort of scratching my head. Where's Euro going to go to next? Where's the pound going to go to next? What's the outlook on the European currencies? I'll include the UK as part of the Europe for that point of reason. Where are we really running to here? And sometimes it's best to look at the big picture, look at what the retail and traders are doing, and also look at what the big boys are doing, the institutional traders. And what I'm looking at here is the Euro weekly to start with, and you can see pretty much in the last God knows how many weeks now we've been consolidating around the mid area of 1.3, so that's the pivotal sort of level on the Euro. Now it has started to, it did break down a little bit, and we've seen some lows sort of coming in this current week, which has given us a one-to-one move now. Now we've had a bounce off those particular lows initially. Whether this move can continue, really, we might as well come down to the dailies and look at what's actually gone on here. And we just sort of we've broken out these previous lows here. It's put a lower high, confirmed lower high into this move. So from that point of view, it still looks bearish at the moment. Now in the short term, there's potential for it to run up to the daily 50. This could happen even today. We could run up to the daily 50. This is a regression channel I've got on here just to, it's basically the current trend. What we've had this morning, this 4 hourly bars now, we've had it run through, we've had it run up on the excitement of the election news. But as ever, when you get news stories out, we often come back to trend, and the trend really for the bigger time frames at the moment is still pretty much to the downside. Whether you're looking at it from this time frame or whether you're looking at it from a daily point of view, we're still in this downward trend, a bigger downward trend. We're below the 50 MA, which is pointing up at the moment, but that could swing around. The 34 and 21s are both already around and curled around below it, above it, which could provide some significant resistance if we get up to those levels. We did potentially get a tad towards the oversold areas, these lows here, but if it was to continue selling, there's well, chance it could just run on these time frames. If we look at our order book, you see on our website here, if you go to the order book there and look at the euro dollar there, and one thing actually, let's just bring in the open positions on the long short ratio, and you'll see the euro dollar here is about a 50-50, so it's very neutral from the retail sector. Retail traders are seeing it as a neutral position at the moment. When you look at the open positions, they're pretty neutral in terms of there's quite a few longs underwater, there's quite a few shorts underwater. Overall, the net position of all those orders is round about neutral, 50-50. One thing that's more important though I'm looking at here is the open orders, and these are the orders that if the price starts moving up will get triggered, and there's a lot of sell orders around the 129 area now, you can see, which provides it makes pretty good resistance, and then thereafter the 1.3 area, which has been the pivotal area. But all the way up to that area, the net orders, these are the buy orders on this side and the sell orders on this side. As you can see, the net position is very bearish, so making movement upwards quite difficult. Now it's important to look at what the big boys are doing and their view on the market as well. When I say the big boys, I'm looking at the more institutional traders, and for this I'm looking at the COT analysis, which is delayed, of course. This is working on last Tuesday's position, but you can see that the sentiment pretty much still is negative on the euro dollar, although not as negative as it was. I mean, the positions, the size of the amount of open positions is far less from these sort of peaks that we saw back earlier in the year. It's certainly come down a lot now. Was the peak? It was around about 29th of May, that Tuesday 29th of May, and it's quite significantly down from there. However, it is still towards the bearish side, and we certainly know that brokers are still talking of shorting the euro. The overall emphasis seems to be on the short side. Technically, you can see reasoning why to do so as well. As I say, particularly if it starts running up, there's opportunity to get short around that 129 area where all those stops are sitting, sell orders are sitting. It seems like good places where you could end up with key resistance. Now we had obviously the election results, and this has caused this sort of surge up during the Asian session here. Good surge up, but as ever, I've just put a regression channel on over this hourly bars here. As you see, it didn't take too long to get back to the mean. It was already averaging up anyway, and in this shorter time frame. But the big time frame, as I say, is still down, and again we're starting to run to the downside. We could easily run towards the bottom of these channels. I mean, this is on the short term. We could be running towards the bottom of these channels. On the bigger time frames, really, I'm still pretty bearish, and could see us running back towards the lows and beyond. I remain bearish on the euro on the basis of the institutional or position flow of and methodology, if you like, or what they're looking for. The technical point of view, we're still in a downward trend at the moment, so for me the euro remains bearish. We've still got a lot of uncertainty around the Greek situation, although I understand the vote's out today. That may cause some excitement, but again, as ever, when we get these news stories that excite the market, we so often just end up eventually reverting back to mean. And that's why I love the regression channel for that purpose. It just gives an idea where price, once it gets a bit sold or overbought, where it may come back to. When you take the noise out of the market, basically. Okay, so bearish stance still remains on euro. On cable, the picture's slightly different. We come up to a weekly basis. We're still in this sort of well, we have spent 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a very tight range. We've come out of that sort of part of that range, falling out a bit of the range this week. It's broken down. Still could be argued technically we're still in the bull flag, and there's still some potential upside with cable. I say argued, but there'll be people who argue the other way, of course. But at the moment, we've just reverted back into this original descending channel or descending regression channel that's sitting here. Could easily run back down towards the 4 out. Get the words out. The mean run back towards that. As with euro, and it could happen at the same, obviously a similar time. Any run up on cable, it's got the daily 50s and 34s and everything else above it. They're both sort of rolling over. Actually, the 50 seems to be flattening out and may provide resistance on cable if it was to run up there. So the key areas to be watching for, the 160.72 area or 160.70 area, around that sort of area, and just above with the monthly pivot with the 34 may provide resistance. So again, at the moment, my views are still quite bearish on the pound. Let's have a look at what the from the core analysis. Now, as I say, this is a bit old, but the overall feeling is still quite bullish from the institutional traders. They're still relatively bullish on cable, and GBP US dollar here. Again, with the retail sector are quite neutral on the pound dollar. So overall, and looking at the order flow here, it's just refreshed it. I've just refreshed it. If you look at the order flows here, the open orders, there's again significant selling side to the upside. There's a significant lot of support below us as well, unlike where the euro. Let's just bring back to the euro dollar. If I can only find it, there we go. The support sits below that 128 area, the key support areas. Whereas with cable, it's probably a little bit tighter. So that could just keep us pretty much range bound, depending on the volume of the institutional buyers and sellers to watch may go on here. But there's as I say, below this 1.6 area, there is quite a lot of buy orders running through below us. Okay, just anything else on cable? If we come down actually intraday for those that are looking, again, regression channel I popped on earlier on. It's come back to the mean quite easily. It's now running down. Could go change out of this shorter term trend back towards back towards the bigger term trend, which is still down. For me, there's areas of technical support along this monthly pivot here, which if we come down here, it may just extreme out on today. We've had a reasonable range on this now. It's from the Asian session range, but the shorter range, actually we're starting to get a bit better range now. It's about 55 pips in in the normal trade. I call it the normal trading flow between sort of 7 o'clock. We've had a reasonable move, but as I say, I remain relatively bearish, even on cable here. Although with both of these markets, they could well just stay within large trading ranges or relatively big trading ranges, with the potential supports and resistance levels they've got above them and below them, respectively. Okay, quick look at the euro yen. In fact, before I do that, you almost need to look at the yen and see the reaction. The yen has been weakening. It got quite a bit stronger, but it's weakened significantly during the day a little bit more again. Oops, and then look at the euro yen. Well, the euro yen has actually pulled off now. It did a little Gartley pattern a moment ago on the smaller time frames, which has actually now come off and is in play. But it's again, it's in the big time frame. We're still in a upward channel. If we pop the regression, I think it might have broken out of this. Let's just have a look. There's the other one. No, it's still in it. It's just still in this sort of upward trend, the euro yen, but it's pretty close to the lows there. So it's unlike the others. It's sort of been hanging around that. So you see the mean regression. It's a pretty useful tool here. It's been hanging around it, fallen off again the last few days. However, it's got so many different levels of support in the euro yen below us, as opposed to, and this is partly as the fact of the weakness of the yen, as opposed to the overall strength of the euro as such. It's the devaluation effectively of the yen, but it's certainly given the euro yen the chance. And there's often there's really been quite some nice moves on the upside with the weakening of the yen. So anytime you get a good surge with the euro or euro dollar, and the euro itself starting to get a bit stronger, we've seen some even better moves on the euro yen with the yen weakness. Okay, but the support, as all I can see here, is really support on a daily point of view below us. Just quick look at the weekly perspective, and you see we're sort of in this sort of very strong upward trend still, really. Bring that back down to the 4-hourlies here, and it's in this descending channel still on a shorter time frame, but it needs to break below this regression line level and stay below these levels. But there is so many levels of support there. So the euro yen still really hanging towards the bullish side at the moment, based more so on the yen's weakness rather than the euro's strength as such. Okay, very quick look at gold. And I don't know why I brought it down to a 5-minute for you. Really, gold this week is, if it can hold up here, it's had a nice surge. It was in a sort of a weekly bull flag. Let's look at the dailies here, where it's broken. You can see it's actually broken out of its daily regression channel, and it's started to move up now. So it's looking like it's got a good wiggle on, but it's coming up to some key resistance. So looking at 1737 area, 1740 area as potential resistance levels where we could see price stumble again. But the moment, as I say, it's breaking out, it's shown some reasonably good strength. On the 60-minute, it's right at the top of its channel here, and it's moving up nicely. It could continue to push up in that direction. Wouldn't be over surprised, bearing in mind the push that we've had, that we don't get some move back at some point to the mean. But at the moment, it's looking pretty good. Okay, I shall leave it there. So overall, range bound to bearish on the euro pound, and still slightly bullish, although we could see a change on the euro yen. Gold still bullish on the overall. It's in this bullish move at the moment, although we could get some slightly bigger retracements back to the mean or near term mean. But overall, relatively bullish on gold. Okay, that's it. I hope you have a great week. Bye for now.